Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with a video today about gearing up my Spectral Shield Throw character. So League starting this made me realize that we're sharing our essences with the RF boys, and since that's a pretty popular build, I want to talk about making a path to upgrading that would make mapping and bossing feel smooth from the mid-range POB to the endgame gear before you have to worry about getting your helm or your ashes. I'm gonna kick it off with the mid-range POB. So you've got your Spectral Shield throw in, you've got your Scavia on, your Emperor's Vigilance, your Obscurantis, your Prim Sorrows, etc. My first upgrade would be getting rid of the Scavia, which is giving us 30% crit multi and some accuracy, and getting myself either an Apex Rapier or a Harpy Rapier. I would want this ideally to be Shaper influence right away, and we can get the physical damage as extra cold damage. We can hit it with Essences of Sorrow to get the damage penetrates 8% of colds, and the extra cold damage. And that cold damage and chance to freeze is just a Betrayal Craft, so it's a very, very easy upgrade to get right away. You can even worry about getting the extra critical strike multiplier later, and I will have a video out to show how this weapon is made. So your Emperor's Vigilance, that's going to stay the same. This is your best in slot shield for this build, no problem there. Very cheap shield at that. So you can replace your helmet a lot earlier. Just get yourself a base armor helmet with the SST enchant on it, then slap a couple life essences on it and just roll with that. The enchant alone is going to make your clearing so much better with the way that the shards branch out and break off into more packs. Definitely a worthy investment and not overly expensive either. Later on, you can either craft on this base that you have or buy yourself a backup base just in case you don't want to like brick the only base you have. The boots are a really good option to upgrade. The old boots have like life, resist, and some move speed. The new boots, what you could have on them is some spell suppress, life, resist, move speed, but also if you get some maximum essences of loathing, you can get 30 to 35% ailment avoidance, which is so comfortable for defense. You can also look at buying boots that are fractured life or fractured spell suppression if you do have some money for that. I ended up going with spell suppression fracture. It cost me like about divine, but overall it did not cost me a whole lot to make my boots. If you find that you get boots with really good suffixes, you can always lock those suffixes as the bench and use either a Veiled Chaos or go to Aisling herself in a Katarina fight in Betrayal and get yourself movement speed on the boots through her movement speed. You know, maybe some of the Onslaught, the Cannot Be Chilled, something like that. Either way, very, very easy update. Way better than the mid-range boots. Will make you feel safer for sure. And don't forget that you can get yourself the damage penetrates in lab if it's a good lab day. That gives you a lot of damage on bosses, as well as the 5% fizz as extra cold and the action speed from the Eldritch Implicits. You can put those on pretty low and get 4%. And I mean, you know, it doesn't take that much. For 1 more percent, you can worry about that later, right? The chest piece. So here you're wearing a basic Zodiac leather, but you can get yourself a temple base that gives you a minimum of 110 flat life and 8% increased life. You can also get some good spell suppression on that and get that baby 6-linked. Impliciting this one is also pretty important because the Hatred Aura effect and the 23 crit strike multi for attacks is pretty comfortable feeling when you have your Seething Fury. You can always start going with the lowest Eldritch currency and conflict yourself up when you have more money to spend. The Brutal Restraint is an easy upgrade choice. You might even get lucky and snag yourself a good one, but you can get so many different things on the Brutal Restraint. You can get yourself projectile damage, elemental damage, resist, you can get onslaught on kill, you can have life, move speed. It's the list goes on and on. I did make a video showing how you can look up timeless jewels and find what you want. So you can check that out below. So for cluster jewels, you're still going to have the same large cluster jewel, but you will want to get yourself one of the medium cluster jewels as well. It's Basics of Pain and Pressure Point, and hopefully some stats on that, strength and all attributes, whichever one you can get. I'm going to pivot from gear for a minute and look at some of the easy gems that we can get to upgrade. Now with Awakened gems dropping from Maven Witness bosses, you can pick up a couple Awakened gems that are pretty cheap, even level 5s. Like you can get an Awakened Cold Penetration level 5, as well as an Awakened Vicious Projectiles for very cheap. In Sanctum League, I have gotten it for 0.7 of a Divine for the Cold Pen at level 5, and 1 Divine for a level 5 Vicious Projectiles. Those are very comfortable. Also look into getting yourself an Awakened Elemental Damage with attacks. This at level 5 makes sure that you can no longer be hit with Ellie Reflect. Remember though, it's not working on your shield charge unless you have it linked with your shield charge. So keep that in mind for Elemental Reflect maps, but either way, it's a bunch of damage. Gloves. Now, these are a pretty no-brainer update, but you can wear Crim Sorrows for a long time. I'm talking, you can kill Maven, etc., still having Crim Sorrows carry. However, you do want to get yourself your rare gloves, because not only do you get to have life on them, 2 resists, maybe some attack speed if you want, you'll also get way more evasion, which turns into armor, and the critical strike chance for attacks, which is again a very solid thing, especially for Sanctum, because more crits equals more freezes, more of the Sanctum guys, they get frozen and dead. The belt is where you can get some fatty life and percent life. If you decide to go for a Hunter Stygian belt, you can also gain flash charge when you crit, making it feels like you never run out of flasks. This is also a really good place that you can get strength, and using a Stygian belt will give you access to your eyeball. So the eye jewels, the abyss jewels, can give you attack speed. If you've dealt a crit recently, you can get global crit multi, more life, which is really, again, I can't stress how nice it is to have life. After you have all of these pieces together, then you can really start to worry, maybe it's time to start making the helmet and get your ashes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helps you with your gearing choices, making it easier for you, and enjoy blasting on the SST.